Hi, I'm Trevor Dumbleton, and today we're going to talk about should you coach yourself or do you need help? And in the internet marketing world and elsewhere, coaching is often controversial. Some people think it's just fantastic. Others think it's an excuse to sort of empty your wallet and get very little in return. I'm going to ask today which of these is right. And there's more than a grain of truth in both answers, and a lot of other answers as well. Coaching is a really wide and varied subject and can take on all sorts of different forms. And self-coaching is certainly one alternative you can consider. You can get books, videos, workbooks, home study courses and personal coaching on near enough any subject you care to mention. School and college children use tutors to help them better understand certain subjects, and almost every sports team has a coach. And there are classes that cater for various subjects, and you could easily argue that the person leading the class is a group coach, because definitions of coaching vary, but the wider definitions would certainly include this option where they're just in front of the classroom. Most of the time you need to ask yourself a couple of questions. What are you hoping to achieve with the coaching, and how do you best learn the particular thing you want to improve? First question is certainly the most important. If you don't know what you want from something, you're reducing your chance of getting it. It's a bit like setting out from home on a journey but having no destination in mind and then taking random left and right turns to see what happens and where you get to. That could be fun, it could be dangerous, or it could lead you to a dead end, or it could take you somewhere you don't really like, or somewhere you do really like. Without a plan you won't know until it happens, and that's the same with coaching. If your plan, in quote marks, is that you want to improve your internet marketing, the subject's way too wide to be able to get much help. You'd be much better off doing an analysis of your current strengths and weaknesses. Then, once you've got that list, prioritising them. And once you've prioritised them, you need to tackle the highest priority areas. Go back in your mind to decide how you've learned whatever you've learned to date. Was it by reading books? Was it watching videos? Attending a live workshop? Or just trial and error? Then figure out whether the method you used was a good one for you. Did you find it easy or difficult to learn? Were there times when you thought there was something missing? If that's the case, were the missing parts easy to find? Or did they take forever to figure out because you didn't know the question you should be asking? And all those questions need answering before you can decide whether a real coach, one you meet with regularly or online or face-to-face, will work, or whether a virtual coach, those books and videos again, would work okay. That's the other part of the equation, and the 80-20 rule comes into play here. Maybe you could learn near enough everything with a real coach, and maybe you could learn the majority of what you need to know without having to block out the time and the money to find out the answers in person. Chances are you won't have the same answer for everything in your life. For instance, I'm self-taught on things like computers and HTML code and weird things like that, partly because when I first started learning, magazines and a handful of online resources were the only things available. So that's how my mind pretty much trained itself, or thinks it should learn those subjects. When I learned to drive, I had an instructor, pretty close to a coach, but the industry convention doesn't call them that. And there's a lot of overlap in terminology unless you've been really pedantic. Hypnosis, I used a mixture of books, audios and courses. NLP, neurolinguistic programming, I tried to learn from books and audios, but needed to go on a course for it to make sense, if NLP ever does make sense. Weight loss, books worked for a while, but I normally went back to my previous weights, so I booked several sessions with a local health and nutritionist, and I've been on the right track ever since. But I've also had the advantage of support from a friend who's also interested in losing weight, so effectively we've been adding in a buddy system where we're both accountable to each other, and finding a buddy is an option you definitely should consider. It's not coaching in the strict sense of the word, but it may well be what you need to push you in the right direction. And take the time to consider where you want to go in your next business, then, or even next in your business. Then take action, whatever that action is. Could be as simple as setting aside an hour a day most days to work on your business, or it could be immersing yourself in study in an area that you feel would benefit from, or it could be finding a buddy that will work with you, or it could be finding someone who will coach you and working with them either on a one-off basis or as part of a longer-term process. Ultimately, it's your choice. Personally, I think the best decision you could make is to do something, almost anything, rather than do nothing. You can always fine-tune things once you know where you're going, but if you don't know your destination, then both everything and nothing will help or hinder. So if you'd like to know more, click across the links below this video, and I've got products that will help you fill in the gaps in your knowledge, or we can maybe work together on some kind of coaching system. Whatever it is, as I said, take action and make sure you do it. thanks very much for watching.